Thank you, everyone, for joining us for today's State Leaders Call. We're really excited to be here with you today and to be sharing with you this month's topic, which is about social media. Becca Cox, who is on our staff, is a real expert in this area, so I think that you're really going to learn a lot from her. But before we jump into that, we did want to give you our normal updates that we always give you every month, and we're going to start out with our legislative update from Jared.
Thank you, Lauren. So not a whole lot new happening since last update specifically related to CTE, but I still want to go through a couple things. The first is, of course, this is CTE month, and we have an exciting event going on for CTE month tomorrow. The staff here at ACT, we always host a CTE month site visit at a different CTE program in the DC area, and tomorrow we're going to the Academies of Loudoun. But what's really exciting is that for the first time since we've been doing these CTE month site visits, the U.S. Secretary of Education is going to be joining us. So Secretary Betsy DeVos is going to participate tomorrow. This is a really good opportunity for us to highlight what high-quality CTE programs look like, and also to share why investing and supporting CTE is so important. So tomorrow we're going to be doing that. All of our staff, we're all going out to Loudoun County for that. There'll be a roundtable, and then with the secretary and some students, teachers, and others, and then we're going to go and tour those programs. So we are really excited about that. In other news, we have the fiscal year 2019 budget was completed earlier this month. If you recall, that was the source and subject of the government shutdown and some other things. Did not impact CTE directly because the Department of Education's budget had already been funded last year, so shutdown and whatnot didn't impact CTE directly. But what it did do was it pushed back the timeline for when the president's going to announce his fiscal year 2020 budget. Typically that would have happened in February, but instead we're hearing that that will happen. The president's budget will be put out in mid-March, the week of March. Now that budget, so today there was just an announcement that the administration will seek a 5% across the board cut for non-defense discretionary funding, which includes education. So a couple things to note. First off, whatever the president proposes does not mean that that's going to come to fruition. Over the past couple of years, and this spans both Democratic and Republican administrations, the president's budget is largely seen as dead on arrival. So again, there's not too much to read into it, but it is a good showing of what the president's priorities are. Now, 5% across the board means generally for the different departments and agencies. So theoretically, that 5% cut might not impact Perkins, but it would impact the Department of Education. So it just depends on where those cuts are located. We might not know when the budget's released where those cuts are, because generally what's first released is a more broad overview rather than any sort of specifics. But as soon as we have that information, we'll be posting it on the CTE Policy Watch blog. But what's driving all of this, besides just generally kind of the philosophy of a smaller government and cutting government from this administration, is the idea of budget caps. So budget caps are the result of sequestration, which you might have heard about. That essentially set hard caps on government spending for both the defense sector and the non-defense sector. Non-defense discretionary spending is what we call it, which is what includes education. So essentially, if those so the sequestration set levels for spending. If those caps aren't raised, they've been raised in the past, what happens is there'll be an across-the-board cut for fiscal year 2020 programs, and that cut is proportional across all agencies and across all programs. So that would impact Perkins. Perkins would be cut proportionally with everything else if those budget caps aren't raised. So essentially, the budget cap is at $542 million. Sorry, $542 billion, and we'll be at $597 billion for non-defense discretionary spending. And so that will leave a $55 billion shortfall. And so what will happen is that those mandatory cuts of $55 billion will kick in. So that will happen unless Congress passes and the president signs a bill to increase the budget caps. Like I said, that's been done in the past. However, in an op-ed from the administration today, they indicated that they're proceeding and are inclined to not raise the budget caps and instead want to keep things as they are. Many people think that it's just absolutely untenable to not raise the budget caps, that there'll just be some severe spending cuts that neither Democrats nor Republicans would go along with. But again, that's yet to be seen, and we'll obviously be following closely how that process plays out. So that's really the big thing that's going on right now. The president's budget out in a couple weeks. We're monitoring how that will impact CTE. We're also advocating for increasing those budget caps so that we don't have those across the board spending cuts that would really impact and hurt CTE programs across the country. In other news, we're still kind of in a holding pattern when it comes to the two big things that we think might see some action here. That's the Higher Education Act and and possibly some sort of infrastructure package. I would say is that if you do have a new member of Congress from your district or state or wherever you're calling in from, ask that you go onto our Action Center and make sure you put in a letter to ask them to join the CTE caucus. Particularly in the House, we had a lot of retirements or losses last year that removed a lot of the folks from the CTE caucus. So we're hoping to build that back up. Other than that, we're always available to answer any questions that you might have about different policy issues, and looking forward to seeing many, if not all of you at NPS next month.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jared. Any questions for Jared? Making sure everybody's unmuted here. All right. Well, as Jared said, if you ever have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to Jared or the rest of the public policy staff. They're more than willing and able to help with any concern that you might have. Now, with that, I'm going to hand it over to Ryan for our ACTE organizational update.
Yes, from a finance and operations standpoint, we are excited to be coming into NPS next month. Our staff has been working diligently to get folks registered for NPS and all of the other fun activities that we have around that. We've also passed out our budget, so we are in the middle of our budget process, not only with our regions and divisions, but here internally at headquarters to make sure that we get our budgets out on time, and that way the board can approve them. And finally, yes, and other than that, we are pretty much on track. We are done with all of vision expenses. So vision turned out wonderfully. It looks like we're about 25% above where we expected to be. So that is great news. My thanks to all the staff here for working diligently to get all of that taken care of. That's not an easy lift. And I'm quite impressed with everything that the staff members have done to make this a successful vision. And we're looking forward to being equally successful, if not more, in Anaheim.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ryan. We appreciate all the work that you and your team are doing. Any questions for Ryan? Okay. Then with that, I'm going to provide you with some leadership and awards updates so that you know what's going on here with the leadership department. The awards deadline is March 1st, so please be sure to put in your state level winners for regional consideration by March 1st so that they can be eligible to be reviewed by the awards committees. That is all handled through our awards portal. So if you have any questions about how to access the portal or how to use the portal, please feel free to contact Megan or Dominique on our staff, and they would be more than happy to assist you with that process. I also wanted to make sure that you were aware that Educators in Action is still looking for people to lead virtual discussions. So if you have a topic that you think would be of interest to other ACTE members or something really fantastic that's going on in your state or in your classroom setting, we would love to hear about that and to share it with others. So please let Megan know, and she'd be more than happy to schedule that for you. We'd love to hear all the wisdom and expertise that you have to share. We're also seeking your opinions and best practices. So if you don't want to do a video and writing is more your thing, we'd love to invite you to participate in our Educators in Action blog. It's a great place for you to share and to let others know the great things that is going on with you and with your programs. So please consider that. Again, contact for that is Dominique or Megan. The other thing that I wanted to let you know about, last call I had mentioned in error the student trophy design contest. That's actually going to be in April 17th. So we hope that you can join us for that as you learn how to get involved as we're judging those. So it's going to be April 17th at 3:30 p.m. More information is available with Megan. And of course, if you have any questions about any of these things, please feel free to contact me and I can put you in contact with the appropriate person. I also wanted to highlight our state leadership training program that's going to be happening at NPS on March 24th. It's a wonderful way for you to get some training in state association management. So this session, we're going to be focusing on websites, how to make, what kind of things to be putting on a website, how you can utilize ACTE services in terms of putting together a website for your state association. And Brandy is going to be leading that for us. We're also having Sherry Adrian, one of our former board members, as well as a past fellow, come to talk to us about developing a CTE elevator speech. We think this is going to be especially helpful for you as you're getting ready to go on the Hill and share information with legislators, but also in your local context, when you're engaging with parents or with other stakeholders, to be able to have an excellent way to summarize and to talk about what CTE is, why it's so important to you, and why they should support it and get involved. Once again, we're going to have our leadership panel made up of our ACTA officers. And this panel is going to be especially unique because actually we're going to have 4 of our officers or incoming officers participating, which we've never had before. As you know, Dr. Doug Major was elected this past election cycle, and he's going to be serving as the moderator and also the incoming president-elect. So it's going to be an excellent panel. And then for the last half of the afternoon, we're going to be doing the HEA and Perkins sessions that are being hosted by the public policy staff and joining them in that effort. If you're interested in registering, please do so through the NPS registration form. The cost is $25, and we know that you won't want to miss this and hope that you will be able to join us. The other thing I wanted to be sure was on your radar was our board of directors elections. I know that it seems like we just finished the 2019 election, but it's already time to start getting ready for 2020. So if there's someone in your state or yourself and you'd like to run for board of directors, here's the guidelines and the time frames that you need to be aware of. April 1st is when the nominations portal opens. We do utilize the awards portal. It's the same sort of format that we use for our awards program. Nominations close on June 15th. In July is when we'll have all of the interviews, and come August, we should have our final slates in. In order to vote, you must be a member by November 16th, and our voting season is going to be December 6th through January 6th. And then winners will be notified and the results announced the week of January 7th. This year, our categories that are up for election are president-elect, engineering, trade and industrial, marketing, and administration, guidance, and Region 5 are all elections this year. So that means they will not be coming onto the board in 2020, but in 2021. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm more than happy to assist with that. I also wanted to let you know our call calendar for the next month here. We just finalized this. We hope that you'll be able to join us next month in March. We're going to be having a discussion on leading change led by Chris Neff, who's one of our former fellows. In April, Alicia will be joining us to talk about high quality CTE. And in May, we're going to have a discussion from Mike Stone and our friends in Georgia regarding their leadership programs at the state level. This is something that came out of the state perception survey that you all wanted to hear more about different leadership models that states are doing across the country. So we've asked for more information from Talents and Lead CTAE. In August, we'll do our ACTE update and information on the July board meeting, plus Ryan will lead us in some finance best practices. Again, this was a need that was articulated in the state perception survey, so we hope this is helpful to you. In September, we'll talk about member recruitment. Again, another thing you all mentioned. And in October, we'll wrap up with CTE month so that you guys can start planning for what you want to do in CTE month in February 2020. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Julia to provide us with our programs and communications update. Thank you, Julia.
Thank you, Lauren. I have a few things I want to highlight, and all of this information we've been promoting in ACTE News and in the State Leader Memo. So, and feel free just to contact me if you have some follow-up questions on some of these announcements. So I want to start with CTE Learn. Michael Connett has been the lead on this, and it's a wonderful, growing portal of some really extensive and comprehensive online seminars. And he's recently partnered with a vendor who will expand this portal for us. And the great thing about it is now the states will be able to co-brand or have it branded as their own online portal. And there is some revenue generation opportunity. And I don't want to state exactly what it is, but I believe it's for everyone who signs up through your branded state branded online seminar portal receives a 15% kickback from the vendor. So we're really excited about this, and you'll see more promotions about this in the coming months. So I just wanted to alert you about it and to watch for it. I think it'll be a nice added professional development opportunity for all of our members. Next, I want to talk about, this is part of a grant that we are part of called the CTE Research Network. And right now, the network is doing an evaluability assessment, which is a research study that's looking for CTE programs across the country to do a more intensive study to expand on the available research available on CTE and its impact on student outcomes. So they're looking for about 4 to 6 programs. They're going to identify these programs, and I think the actual study will begin in the fall. But and they don't have a hard deadline for this yet, but they're leaving the call open until the end of spring. So you'll see promotions in ACTE News on social media about this call. So if this is something, or if you have a program you'd really like to see featured in your state and you think would definitely show the positive impact of CTE on students and their career choices, their career outcomes, then please consider participating in that study. Next, I just want to give you some event dates, which I know are on your radar, and many of you will be there, which we're just thrilled about. But first is of course National Policy Seminar. That's coming up March 25th through the 27th in Arlington, Virginia, with time to meet with your legislators on Capitol Hill. On some new things that will be happening is on March 24th during the pre-conference day and after state leadership training program, they're going to have some introductory sessions on Perkins and HEA. So these are new, they're free. This was from your feedback on last year's survey on wanting a little bit more introductory information, especially for newcomers to NPS, and as you try to encourage advocacy within your own membership to participate at the national level, we think this might help. So we're really excited about that. And then of course, we'll have a Perkins 5 symposium on Wednesday, and that will cover local and state implementation strategies for the new Perkins 5. Next, I want to remind you that Vision 2019 call for proposals, the deadline for that is actually this week, February 28th. And this year's event will be in Anaheim, California. So we're really excited about that. And this is a side note, but Disney, our meetings director, just secured discounted tickets to Disney. So we'll be promoting that information soon as well. So, but again, we're looking for session proposals from from you and from your state members on secondary and post-secondary career and technical education, just across the board. And then this is just a save the date for Best Practices and Innovations in CTE conference that we co-host with NCLA. This year's event will be in Tucson, Arizona, September 25th through the 27th. So you'll see more information on that as well. And then finally, I want to promote our Techniques 2019-2020 editorial calendar. It is now live, and I encourage you and your members to take a good look at that and really think about how you might want to feature and highlight your state and local programs. Just some of the themes are for next year. We have a whole issue on post-secondary CTE. We also have a whole issue on Perkins 5, and then on professional development. And then finally, there are several other issues, but one that I think will be a lot of fun, it's called Waterworks, and it's CTE that relates to everything on the water, on the water and underwater, so shipbuilding and diving and just all kinds of really fun topics. So I encourage you to check it out, and we would love to see your submissions. So that's what I have. And again, feel free to contact me if you have any questions or need additional information. Thank you. Thank you, Lauren.
Excellent. Any questions for Julia? All right. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Becca for social media and ACTE, our topic for today. Becca, would you like to share your own screen, or would you like me to handle your slides? What would you prefer?
You can go for the slides, I think.
Will do.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. So if you went to the state leadership training, I'm sure you've heard this before. So this is just kind of a version of it, and it's a little different, but just a fair warning. I think there's only a handful of you. Yeah, so I'm Becca. I'm the Membership and Communications Manager. I have worked with probably every single one of you, so hello. It's nice to virtually be with everyone. You can go to the next one. Okay, so I'm just going to talk a little bit about our social media platforms and sort of give you a rundown with how we work our association and maybe some practices that you could adopt at your state association. I see a lot of you all on social media lately, even more so lately now that CTE month is really awesome that you guys are getting really active. So we use Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. I would say in order is the way they're listed on the screen. So I'll talk a little bit about them. Okay, so just in general, the importance of social media, it does help spread awareness, as I'm sure you've seen. There's been so many different campaigns that different schools have done, your states have done, we've done some. It is fun and interactive. I think that's why so many people gravitate towards it. It's easy to do. You can just log on, see what's going on, go to a hashtag, go to an account. It is informative too. You really just kind of get that quick little tidbit of what you need, and then you can always log off, which is nice. And there's so much shareable content, especially within photos and videos and different articles. So I think that's awesome too. Lots of exposure for CTE. And then in general, it just boosts the presence. And if someone, doesn't know what CTE is and they see the hashtag floating around, it's just another reason for them to click on it and see what about it is making it so presentable. Okay? Okay, Twitter. So Twitter is really, we just use for short messages. We currently have over 13,000 followers, so it's definitely our most active social channel. I'll talk a little bit about this later. We are doing kind of a fun month to talk about social media in because or yeah, because it is CTE month, so we're doing a lot more. We started last year our campaign, 28 Days of CTE. I thought it was kind of like a cute play on like 25 Days of Christmas. So it's actually really fun to see what you guys and everyone else are posting and using the hashtag. And I actually saw today, I commented on it, but Nevada, school in Nevada is even doing, 28 days of, and then their school acronym, which I thought was really cool, that they could adapt it like that. So that's definitely what it's there for too. But so anyway, so we're just trying to share more and more about what CTE programs, what's going on and around the country in CTE, and just kind of get it floating out there and do a little more promotion for CTE. But in general, I would say Twitter is our most used, and the CTE community, from what I've seen, is the most used platform. Okay. These are just statistics about Twitter. So I thought it was really interesting. There's 1.3 billion accounts, but only 550 million users. So there is a lot of bot accounts. If you'll remember, we used to do the thunderclap for CTE month a few years ago, maybe actually 2 years ago. And then one of the big reasons we stopped doing that is because so many bot accounts were signing up, and it was getting us, real people. So it was just very odd. So there are so many, fake accounts per real accounts. So you can read the statistics there, but as you can see, and I'm sure as you know, tweets with images do get 150% more retweets. I know I'm more likely to look at a tweet with a picture than I am just to read a really long tweet, especially when you're just kind of, think about how you scroll through on your phone on Twitter if you use it. So yeah, 80% more, 89% more likes, and 80% use the mobile sites. So we do different types of campaigns, as I kind of mentioned. We do some contests and giveaways. These always go over super well, as I'm sure you can imagine. We do partnership campaigns. We, partners either with companies, some of our affiliate members, corporate members, or we do a lot with Advanced CTE, as I'm sure you know. I've been trying to do some more polls lately. I think those are really fun just to see what you guys are into and like what the whole CTE community is into. And it is, you can do informational campaigns, and I'll show you a bunch of different ones. And then there's some cause campaigns. And yeah, so let's go into the different types. I think I have a few here. Yeah, so this is from last year from 28 Days of CTE. So really, the pictures I feel like are the ones that just get so many different retweets, and then just tagging people, something as simple as that. And then of course the hashtags are super important as well. But I just really like to keep it simple when I do campaigns. I think that comes across the most effective, in my opinion. Next one. Yeah, so this is just another graphic for 28 days of CTE month. And I know we talked about Canva, the platform that lets you create your own graphics, which I think it was Rachel who told me about it at the state leadership, Rachel, who's on this call. But it's like a really awesome platform, and you can make your own graphics for free for social media. And we do have an in-house graphic designer, so she did make this graphic on the screen. But if you obviously most state associations, you guys don't have in-house graphic designers, so that is a really good resource, and they go a really long way. Okay. And then, so this is another, just not even a campaign, just kind of, a graphic, a countdown, getting people excited, just something super simple that people can relate to or retweet, and just shareable content, kind of going back to that. Sorry, Lauren, I forgot I had so many pictures. And these, it goes back to the informational type of campaign, this is about ACTE, but I know we've shared, and I think I have it on the next slide, more information about in general. Yeah, you can keep it here. So this is about, just kind of another way to engage people, and more this provision in 2017 about the playlist. So just finding it can be tough finding creative ways to engage people. So but you guys have some really cool campaigns. So yeah, if you ever need ideas, help brainstorming, I'm always here for that. You can go to the next one, Lauren. Yep, and then just working wonders. So this is an example of like a longer campaign. So we have CTE Working Wonders, and campaigns can run a total of like, so obviously our CTE month one runs for 28 days because that's CTE month in February. This one we just do throughout the year, and we kind of keep this as an ongoing one. And it's a hashtag that if it's relatable content to CTE Working Wonders, it's good to file under this hashtag so people can either start using it, or if you click on it, you do kind of have that that archive. This is definitely a long-term one that we use. So this is what I was talking about too for the informational. I did this, I think my first year, about 3 years ago, and it's just about, again, CTE Works, the longer running hashtag and technically campaign. But it's really just, it's a graphic, it's straightforward, it says one fact, it's about a certain, I did it for all divisions and all the sectors and pathways and stuff. So it's just very simple stuff, and I'm sure you can make something like this online. But I tend to try to post on Facebook less frequently. I try to post on Twitter a lot more than I do Facebook. Because these are typically longer posts. Again, the same rules, I feel like they apply. Pictures are always good no matter what the platform. For us, it is the second most used platform. We have about 7,000 plus likes on our page. So it's definitely a big difference versus, engaging and what. But we definitely do have people engaging. And, I think it's fun because you can create events and market events and do all that kind of stuff. Okay. This is some more stats. So there are about 2 billion monthly active users. I find these statistics so interesting. 35 minutes a day on Facebook. It doesn't even seem like that, but I'm sure I do, even just on the ACT Twitter, scrolling and looking at all the different things schools post and whatnot. I thought this was so interesting. So everyone on Facebook is no more than 3.5 degrees separated. So I thought that was really interesting, especially because for CTE, it just shows you if you share, the more people share posts about CTE, like it's going to get to people who might not even know what CTE is. And then just some more, we do cross-promote, so I do try to post what I post on Facebook, on Twitter, on Facebook eventually. But there is definitely some content that's just for Twitter and not very shareable. Instagram, so we did recently create a new Instagram. So we have, personally at ACT, we have a little bit over 100 followers now. We did have an account before, but we don't use that, so it's ACTE Career Tech 1. And I made a joke when I first made the Instagram. I said my New Year's resolution is going to be to use that more, because I think there's so much potential, even in the past year or two, with Instagram, CTE, and so many users. So I think that's a really great way to come across and promote things for it, and really just, the photo aspect of it. And really great way to engage with millennials. I know that we're always looking to do that as a state or as a national association, as I'm sure you guys are as a state association. So lots and lots, and I like to keep the captions short because people like the pictures. Sorry, Lauren, next. If you want to get really, really in-depth, so there are actually different times when people look more, I guess you could say, check their phone more, check these platforms more. I guess these are the best times to post. I honestly would say that the only one that I really look at is Twitter and technically follow. I do try that. We have a scheduling platform, and it lets me schedule tweets. So I try to get it.
Multitasking.
Or,
okay, a conference call for ACTE, but this presentation.
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Just remember to mute your line. I know you're multitasking, but please mute your line.
This morning was just insane.
Hi, person who's multitasking. Can you please mute your line? I know you've already heard this presentation, but please mute.
I put it all together over the weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that happened, like, I had a boatload of
All
emails.
right, let me see what I can do, guys. Sorry. Try to figure out who it is.
Boom,
I have 30
here, do this right
emails.
now. I had 10, that's a lot for me.
Yeah.
But it was
Oh.
people answering, but with stuff.
I think I got it.
Good, yeah.
Awesome. And then you can turn the thing whenever. The slide.
Sorry, guys. Trying to get us set up here.
Okay, and then we have some, I'm almost done. We have some videos. I think they're, you know, we don't share a ton of videos. We do have awesome videos though that we should share more, so I will make a note of that. But I do try, especially when it's hard to share videos on Twitter because people aren't gonna sit down and watch a 2 to 3 minute video when they're especially as of lately with like all the attention, the lack of attention, I think, especially because there's just so much content. So I, you know, would say keep it pretty short if you are going to share videos. But I have seen some really cool videos too that some schools have shared. But mostly, you know, definitely pictures, I would say, are the one. But they tell a story, people of people, that's for sure. And then there's a lot of different types of platforms like YouTube, Edutopia, lots of free resources too. Okay. And then promoting your state. This kind of reiterates what I said before, but a big one on this that I haven't talked about, 2 things. Definitely engage with your policymakers. I know that during the CTSO chat the other night, we had a question about policymakers, and a lot of people, you know, then started tweeting at them, and I know one person like ended up engaging with them, one student in conversation, and that was really cool. And so they, you know, a lot of times aren't going to, I mean, you know this, they may not, you know, look at all of their tweets, but on the off chance, or I know a lot of people do, congressmen do retweet some things, and they'll tweet about Career Tech Ed, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that's just something to keep in mind. And then hashtags, there's so many different hashtags, but these are the ones that we typically use, and the ones that aren't up there, CTE month, 28 days of CTE. NPS is coming up, hashtag NPS 19, best practices 19, and the 19 would change to 20 as the years go on, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, and I'm sure, and CTE working wonders. So there's quite a few I'm missing, but these are generally the ones that we stick to. And we do try to stay away from just hashtag CTE because of the whole other aspect of it being the whole concussion, you know, I'm not really up to date on that, but if you get what I'm saying, it's also the term for the concussion in football. So that was trending a while ago when someone had like a concussion, but that's usually what that means. Sorry, Lauren, go ahead. Thank you. And then of course, teachers also use it for professional development. So we'll get tagged in a lot that either their students post or of students in their programs. So even if they're not promoting just, you know, their program, they'll have an entire professional development segment within teachers together, or just, you know, with their students. With, you know, you can promote webinars and Twitter chats and just kind of see what everyone else is doing. We sometimes like to I sometimes like to retweet Edutopia. There's some really cool CTE like lesson plan ideas or activities occasionally. So yeah. Oh yeah, and then more like online engaging. We of course have the fellows. You always do Zoom calls like we're on right now. Yeah, there's just so many through social media. I feel like nowadays there's just so many opportunities for creative types of professional development. Yeah, so these are just some last minute tips I found I thought were really relevant. So using Twitter hashtags that are relevant is really important. And it's really important. So if you want to create a hashtag and start a hashtag, make sure one doesn't already exist. And I know that sounds so obvious, but for instance, the old hashtag we were using was hashtag was it Vision CTE or vision. No, it was hashtag vision and then maybe like the number 2017. And that turned into an entire other event with a different group and just different content we didn't want when using the hashtag. And so that, you know, that was hard to differentiate who was tweeting about what from what conference. And so it's really important to have like your own hashtag and not have it be one that's already pretty popular. Photo and video contests are good. That way you get content that you don't even have to create. And then consider including please retweet at the end of important tweets. I know our policy Twitter account does that. Of course, reply and retweet, really engage. And then you can also set up Google Alerts to keep track of what people are saying about your organization. And then these are our Twitter account, or I'm sorry, our social media accounts. We definitely encourage you to engage with us. I know a lot of you already have awesome Twitter accounts, both personally and for your state association. So much appreciated, all the interaction and the content. So thank you, that's all I have. And that's all.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Becca. I know that we had a comment come in while you were speaking from Robin Mann about using, I believe it's Wordle and WordSwag as easy ways to create visuals. It costs just a couple bucks, but easy way to create visuals if that's something that you need.
Awesome. Rachel always has the good platforms.
She does.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you.
Any other questions or comments for Becca? Thoughts on social media? And I did mute everyone, so if you do have a question or comment, please be sure to unmute.
And if you think of it later, I'm always here. Feel free to email me.
Yes. All right. Then with that, we will go ahead and end our February conference call. Thank you all so much for joining us today. And as I hope you've heard throughout the call today, if you have any questions or if there's any way that ACTE can assist you, please do contact us. Please do let us know. We do want to serve you and assist you in any way that we can. We hope to see you at NPS. Have a great rest of your week and a great rest of your CTE month. Thank you so much. Bye.